All right, a guy I've asked to lead here is a good friend of mine. I've seen him come in the program, and I gave him an option. You can sit down where you're sitting at, or you can stand up here and talk. So it's wherever you want to, you're comfortable at it, Carl. You sit right there. All right, wherever you feel comfortable. I introduce my friend Karl L. from New Knoxville.
Oh, you're getting up. And then I might sit down. Okay. So my name is Karl Langridge. I'm alcoholic.
Hey, Karl.
Hi, Karl.
And yeah, Gary asked me to give a lead last week. And at a full disclosure, I've had some great leads this past week. But I'm totally blank right now. So, but no. Um, I was, yeah, it's, this hit me the last couple of days and a week is how Alcoholics Anonymous has saved my life. Um, I never, as a kid, in this story, Freedom from Bondage, she talks about that she never acted normally to any emotional situation, but well before starting drinking. And I can relate to that because I never did respond. If you didn't want me to go with you somewhere, you didn't like me. Um, I can remember always in my head, wondering, telling myself that I'm no good. Um, and the only thing that I can explain why that is that way is from what I learned here in the fellowship is that was the disease starting to work on me before I actually drank, and I remember that as a young kid. The first time I drank, it was alcoholically. I didn't think it was because I thought I drank normal like everybody else. I had to impress my brother, so I downed a 2-liter bottle of beer and blacked out, passed out, and woke up puking. And said that I'll never do that again. And lo and behold, it did happen again. And that was setting up for my parents' 25th wedding anniversary. But yeah, I swore off alcohol. I was not going to drink again. But I thought, man, I really liked that feeling that hit me. And good, because I thought it was just me.
I did. I had it on Do Not Disturb.
No.
It's ringing anyway.
No.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, yeah, no.
I'll just turn it off.
Um,
Good grief.
He's talking about your parents' wedding.
oh yeah,
Or
setting
something
up
like
for
that.
that.
Yeah.
Thank you. And swearing off on alcohol, but thinking, when's the next time I can drink and get away with it? And that was at 14. And I didn't drink every day, but I sure thought about drinking. Um, Pretty much every day. My parents wouldn't allow me to drink unless they were with me, and that was just maybe half a beer. But I was like, so I started hiding my drinking, and so I learned how to hide my drinking. So I thought, and I got through school. Uh, if I was going to a party, I would make sure a friend was mine was. If Mike was there, then my parents would let me go to the party, but I always had my plan to spend the night because I didn't know. Usually, when I drank, it was back into drinking to the point of blacking out and then passing out and waking up going, "Wow, what happened?" And um, some of my drinking, um, I don't remember because being in the blackouts, I'm finding out. I've been finding out through sobriety that when friends of mine that are still good friends, hey, you remember that time? I'm like, no, I didn't. I was a nice guy. I didn't fight anybody. Um, and lo and behold, I must have, but I just don't remember it. And apparently, I made an ass of myself at my brother's wedding and the reception. Don't remember. I just know we went to the hall, ate, danced a little bit, and went home. But apparently there was a whole lot of stuff that no one would tell me to this day what I did exactly did. But now I understand why my sister-in-law reacted to me the way she did. She didn't want me around her kids, and I for the longest time didn't understand what she had against me. Well, I didn't know that I was in a full-blown blackout at their reception. I don't remember. And my mom, even mom wouldn't tell me. Mom's like, "Don't worry about it. It was years ago." So, and yeah, I chased that feeling of when I drank was like, wow, everything's okay. That feeling of not fitting in, that feeling of being the life of the party, because I didn't think I could be the life of the party sober. Um, if someone was picking on me, I found somebody else to pick on because that took the spotlight off of me. And but yeah, as soon as I drank, man, I just wanted more. To this day, I try to abstain and even mouthwash. It's just that's my decision. I don't want to take that chance of starting the compulsion and the obsession that I had, and I didn't understand for a long time that I had that compulsion and obsession. Just here recently, I started reading the Big Book again, and it's like, wow, when did they put that in there? I just started reading from the beginning, and then it just, um, it's not what because of things that happened to me as a kid is not why I'm an alcoholic. I'm just an alcoholic because I have an allergy to it, and if I don't put it inside me, then I don't break out into a rash of self-will. I can be full of self-will, but today I don't have to take a drink. And usually, friends, when my self-will starts acting up, friends will point something out, or my higher power will point something out, and bring me back to reality. And yeah, it's just I have a way out today, thanks to this fellowship, thanks to my higher power. I don't. Uh, for years, I tried to define what is my higher power. I just go with it. I believe it. I just pray to a higher power, and I don't. Today, I don't down religion. If that works for you, that's great. Um, and I've had friends that have gotten sober through Alcoholics Anonymous, and then now are more active in a religious aspect, and that's fine. They're still sober and they're happy, and I don't have any. I don't get upset about that. But I found for me, I tried many ways not to drink and be happy, and I always came running back to Alcoholics Anonymous, and my journey started in 1988. My little 5 foot nothing sergeant, she told me that if I didn't get help, she was going to kick me out of the Air Force, so fear. We talked about that earlier today at another meeting. Fear persuaded me to go to my first meeting, and I walked up to where they were hosting the meeting, and I couldn't go in. And I turned around and I went back, and my sergeant was like, "Well, how was the meeting?" I said, "Well, I couldn't find it." And she was like, "Bull, if you don't go to because they had like 2 meetings a week, if you don't go to the next meeting, I'm kicking you out." And I said, "Okay." So um, out the next meeting come along, and then I walked in through that doorway, and uh, they had couches and lazy boy chairs because it was in a housing area. And I thought, wow, this is pretty nice. But I was scared. Didn't know what I was getting into. But I also, after meeting everyone in that meeting, I felt like I actually belonged and felt, you know, okay. And I wish I would have hung on to that feeling, but I didn't. And I struggled for years um, from until about 2003. I was 3 years sober and decided that I could leave my wife, move to West Virginia, start over, and move in with a friend down there. And um, was just gonna, I got to that point at 3 years sober. I was coming to meetings, but I wasn't working a program. I had a sponsor, but I wasn't using my sponsor. And my self will kicked in, and so I ended up going to West Virginia and And my friend politely, he had no clue that was going on. He said, well, you go back, you get a divorce, and if you want to come down and start over, you can. So I drove back, and after getting drunk the night before, and those old behaviors were still there. My drinking was not daily, but it started. I didn't black out this time, but I knew it was like, wow, I really didn't want that. So I drove my ass back to Ohio. And a couple days later, I said, well, I'll just go to meetings. I won't tell them I drank. I won't pick up the token. And I said, no, I can't do that. So I went to my sponsor and I told him, and he said, if you're not an alcoholic, why do you keep coming back to AA? And that, for me, opened my heart to where I truly believe that, I'm an alcoholic. And thanks to this fellowship, there's an answer. And it was given to me by my higher power. Today, God is not a four-letter word. I don't get down on him. And I used to be. I was taking one of the readings about how he's picking on me, and why is he making this so hard for me? Today, I don't have to think that way, and that's great. I can get out of my head. I feel like I'm kind of jumping around, but I can. People have taught me in the fellowship that I can go through anything, good, bad, not so good, not so bad, and I don't have to take a drink over it. When those crazy thoughts come in my mind, that from time to time, yeah, you weren't that bad. I can shake up the committee and say, yes, I was. I was that bad. And I can remember that. And today I don't want to forget that. Today I don't want to forget that last drunk, and I also don't want to regret that last drunk. So yeah, and it's been a whirlwind. This fellowship has been with me. You got me, and you're getting me through the death of my wife. We were married 28 years, and she battled cancer for a little over 3 years. And I wasn't able to get to many meetings taking care of her, but people were calling, people were reaching out, people would just leave a little message on Facebook that only I and they knew, and I knew where it was coming from, the love of this fellowship, and that was enough to recharge me, because there were some rough days. I didn't have any thoughts of taking a drink when I was going through all that with Sue, and I didn't want to get to that point. But I just thank God that I was able to get through it, because other people in this fellowship have gotten through that. And there for a while, my mind was all over, jumping around, worse than it is tonight. And because she told me that we had a joke before the meeting. I suggested she go to Al-Anon, and she said, "This is your effing problem. You deal with it." I'm like, "Well, I'll show you." So and that was early on, and because when we got married, I just kind of told her what I wanted her to know about my drinking history, and when I did drink was when she was gone to conferences or I was gone to training. Again, hiding my drinks. Before Sue, and I lived by myself out in the country, I would hide the beer for fear that someone was going to catch me drinking. It would be my parents, because they only lived 5 minutes down the road, or my brothers. And I didn't even have the sense to put it in a cooler. I would put it down in the barn. This is August, and couldn't wait. And then about 10 o'clock, I'd be like, okay, Mom and Dad, they're definitely in bed. They're definitely in bed. And all day I'd think about that beer down in the barn, and when can I get to it? And then when 10 o'clock rolled around, it'd be like in my own house. I was hiding beer. I was the only one who lived there. I didn't have any dogs at the time. So, I'm in the right spot. That's, oh, man, the insanity. And today I don't have to do that, and that's great. That's a great feeling, and I owe that to this fellowship. I remember early on I wouldn't say hardly anything, and a good friend said, "Man, you won't say boo." And but they let me be who I was, and then over the years, they got me talking more. And then they're like, "You can shut up at any time." And, can't give enough credit to AA and the fellowship and the people in the fellowship, and I pray for folks that struggle, because there's days that I struggle, and those struggles are getting easier. I don't have to stay in the struggle as long, because I get tired of sitting in my own crap, and yeah, so it's just a day at a time, and January 6th, the most important decision is the decision not to take a drink today out of the black book, the 24-hour book. I hung on to that for the longest time and read that over and over, the Serenity Prayer over and over, and I kept listening to people saying, no matter what, keep coming back, and then some people said, come back and just stay, and so I've been sticking around, and I have a 16-year-old son, and I started, oh man, I got to put Life 360 on his car. I got to put a air tag on his car. I got to know where he's at all times. I'm like, wait a minute. Did your mom and dad have that? My mom and dad knew where I was at. And so I talked to him about it. And he is so mature for his age. And he tells me he has no inkling to try smoking or vaping or drinking. And I asked him, I said, but if you were ever offered it, would you try it? He said, I probably would. And I said, well, thank you for your honesty. And I kind of let him know my struggle with alcohol. And my grandfather, my dad's dad, died of wet brain in a mental institution. And my great-grandfather on my mother's side, he died from cirrhosis of the liver. So I shared those with him, and so he tells me, and do I believe everything he tells me? No, but I have faith that it'll all work out. And so yeah, and then he was going on about something, and before my response to anything you say, if Greg would say something that upset me, I would get angry with Greg, and I'd hold that resentment against Greg. No resentments today, Greg. So, but that's how I reacted. That's how I reacted. And then Daniel was telling me, he said, Dad, I've had a hard life. And I was like, whoa. And I was getting ready to say hard life. I had to walk to school with Rimmler both ways. And I didn't. I stopped. And I said a quick prayer. And I said, what do you mean by that? And I said, what do you mean by that? He said, I had to watch my mother die. And he was with her. And I forgot there were times that I wasn't there, that he was there. And he had to do things that a 16-year-old boy shouldn't have to do, a son shouldn't have to do to help his mother. And I thought, and I thanked him for everything he'd done for her. And do I give him a pass when he gets to know? We talk about consequences. But I don't, I react majority of the time calmer, and I think about my response and what I'm going to say, and not respond like I normally would, and put him down like hard life. I'll show you hard life. And I thought, damn right, I didn't see my mother die at 16, and I was in my 20s, and so yeah, this fellowship was there for that, and still there, and little shit went and got a nose ring, and but he asked me before he did it. He said, well, I'm going to do it, but before I do it, I want to ask you. And I'm like, okay, if you want a nose ring, if you really want it, hoping he wouldn't do it, then I guess you're going to do it. So he went and got it. So and I told him, I'll get used to it. He should have got a bigger one. And he said, why should I got so when he acts up, I can pull him around. And my sister said, what would our dad have done? I said, first off, I wouldn't have walked in the house. And they wouldn't have been there long. But, total different. And just reacting differently and I kind of chuckled a little bit. But this fellowship's teaching me how to be it taught me how to be a husband. It's teaching me how to be a father. and a family member and a friend, um, and I can't give it enough credit. So yeah, but yeah, I put that alcohol in me, and I want more. Damn it, more. Um, so yeah, I don't know where we're at, but I feel like I'm at the end, and I'm struggling, so I'm gonna pass with that.
Sounds good.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
Good message. It works if we work it. I'm saying, doesn't matter what we go through, it works. Yeah, and thanks for being my friend, Carl. You know, I want to tell, next week we have the picnic here, so the people will be parking across the street. There's a lot over there. Just come through this front door. You want to go around through those people back there. You know, and for the new people, you can get these AA meetings on the app. If you have any trouble finding that on the app, and I got mine on my app. I don't know. Somebody did it for me, so if you need help, just ask one of these people who knows things about it. You know what I'm saying. We'll open this meeting up for comments. Carl, I want to thank you for a good lead. You know, you didn't know how many prayers was for you when Sue was going through her final days. I mean that. You know, that's what Alcoholics Anonymous is for. So I'll open it up for anybody who wants to make a comment.
Tom, alcoholic.
Hey, Tom.
That was a good lead. I enjoyed listening to it. And that's all. Good lead. How old was your daughter when she got her nose pierced?
Oh, my son.
How old was your daughter when she got on
Son.
Don't tell her I said that.
He's taller than me.
No, don't tell my
I'm Shannon, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Shannon.
Thank you. I really appreciate that, and I really relate to how you said, you did it to feel normal. You always felt like an outcast. You felt like nobody liked you because they didn't individually invite you and stuff, and I went through so many similarities to what you were saying. And it's good to know that I wasn't the only one. And but yeah, that was a big thing for me. It gave me comfort. And anyways, for that, I wanted to thank you, and I'll pass.
Hey, Shannon.
I'm Travis, an alcoholic.
Travis.
Say thank you for the lead. I enjoyed it. One thing that really stuck out to me is just your serenity and peace, and it's things like that that give me more drive to keep going with this whole program in general, seeing people like you. So I appreciate the story.
Thanks, Travis.
Thank you, Travis.
My name is Greg, and I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Greg.
Thanks for sharing, Carl. I could relate to a lot of what you said, and I think of all the people that I've met in AA, I don't know anybody that's a better example of how I need to be. Not so much in words, but in your actions are so strong, and it meant so much to me over the years, and I just want to thank you. All you've done for me. With that, I'll pass.
Hey, Greg.
Thanks, Greg.
That's pretty good.
I'm Dwayne, alcoholic.
Hey, Dwayne.
Carl, thanks for your lead. Sorry for the loss of your wife. I know that's tough. I mean, it's losing family members sucks. So I lost both my mom and dad in the last 5 months. So I know where you're at with that loss part. And I did like Tom's question about your daughter's nose ring. A while back when I was working, guy said, boy, that kid comes home with a fucking earring, I'm going to diss him, that little son of a bitch. Well, all of a sudden we're sitting there, I was at a picnic, and I seen his boy, and I seen him the next day. He said, I don't want to even hear about it. He said, Tony already told me he talked to you. I said, well, where's he living? He said, don't worry about it. And that's just something we have to live with. That's the trend they go through, long hair and whatever, It ain't nothing that's going to kill him, that's for sure. So Thanks for your lead and thanks for sharing friendship and putting up a grade too, buddy.
Thanks, Wayne.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm Chris, I'm not involved.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, I just like the reference to the freedom from bondage story. That's one of, I think I probably related to that one more than just about any of the other stories in the big book. I like that story. In fact, I think there's a lead out there somewhere. Maybe it's the Keys of the Kingdom. I know there's one you can find somewhere that's on audio. I remember hearing, because the Doctor Alcoholic Addict, he's on, I got him on a computer somewhere. It's a good lead. Yeah, and others, but yeah, I like the reference to that. I'm just going to have to reread that story, because that's one of the ones that I related to, really, in the beginning. Thanks. And I'm sorry about the phone too. It's on Do Not Disturb. It's ringing and I don't know what's going on. Help.
It don't either.
I'm Steve Alcoholic.
Hi,
Hey,
Steve.
Steve.
Hi, everybody. That was a good lead. Very humbling. Made you realize I was in the military too for 27 years. And basically I was kind of like, when I had 15 years in, basically it was kind of like, they gave me my last option was, your ass is going to rehab. You got one choice. You either finish it or you're out. That's about what it amounted to. And I finished it, and that was way back in beginning of '89, middle of 1989. And, well, since that time, except for one time when I went to a friend's house and had a sip of wine at a friend's house, and I wasn't thinking. I hadn't found the need or the urge to drink, so. And, you know, I don't care. We face it. You have it. You know, somehow, some way, we're all going to be. We're going to have to get that urge. I mean, it could be at a wedding, or it could be anywhere. And the best thing to do is, if you have a way out, you have a way out. I usually go. I go to weddings. For members or friends and stuff. And, I have a way out. I basically just say, get an invitation. I go up there. Hey, who says I have to show up for the whole damn thing? If I show up there for a half hour, 45 minutes, and say something else, okay, fine. Good seeing you. And that's about it. At least I showed up and whatever. I think they're trying to tell us something about the weather. But, I like your lead. Liked your lead, it was good, and thanks for being my friend. That's all I got, thanks.
Thanks, Steve.
Kevin, I'm now calling.
Kevin.
Thanks, Carl. Good lead. I've heard you several times. I've known you a long time. And, I think back when I probably first met you, and, that was probably over in Minden when that Minden meeting started, and that was on a Friday night. And that's been a long time ago. And, you've, always been around meetings when you're able to make meetings, and, you're always willing to help out, and that's just what we do. That's just what we do, And, we went up to Akron there a couple weeks ago and had a good trip up there, and, that was just, it's so different today being sober, because, chances are, without this program, I'd probably never have met you, same way as most of the people sitting around these rooms. And, and I'm just grateful that I've had the opportunity to make new friends in these, rooms like I have, and, just glad to be here today, glad to be sober, and, thanks for a good lead, thanks for being my friend.
Thanks, Kevin.
Anybody else?
I'm Gary and I'm not Carl.
Hey, Gary.
I never heard your lead before. Was talking about Sue. Well, I'm still going to that church, but, this is no lie. She brought me a pie every week for months. Remember that? I did. God, that was how she was in my life. So, just glad to be sober. Sure you miss her.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gary.
Anybody else?
My name's Russ, I'm an alcoholic.
Russ.
Carl, thanks for giving your lead again. This is the second or third time I've heard y'all at this meeting. I guess to echo some other sentiments in the room, you seem to be very humble. You seem to, you have a humility about you. I mean, I see you at meetings a lot. I don't always get to hear you share, but I enjoy when you do. You have a good knowledge of the program, and it's just, you're a good example for me. I can't speak for everybody else in the room, but I hope they feel the same way. But you're one of the people in the rooms that I aspire that, once I keep in the program and stay doing what I'm doing, that I can be, as humble as you, and just be able to work through things the right way. Thanks for getting up there and sharing it.
Thanks, Russ.
I'm John Wayne, alcoholic.
Hey, John Wayne.
I'd like to kind of say how you were talking about, it's gotten you through a lot of hardships in your life, and that's kind of the reason why I started doing things. I've been through way too much in a very short time, and it kind of taught me structure and just how to value things a little bit better. And every time you guys speak, I always learn something from everything. And I'm fairly new to it myself, so but I'm definitely learning a lot. And I've been enjoying the sobriety and just the chance to get the knowledge from everybody, basically, and learn how to live a better life. So I'd like to thank you.
Thanks, John.
Hey, John. Anybody else?
I'm Sandra, I'm an alcoholic. I've heard you a few times, Carl. And it's a good lead, I'm sorry for your loss, but I agree with what a lot of people said, Russ, and you do have a very humbleness to you, and a peace, and I mean, I feel like your son has a good dad, because not everybody would be okay with the nose piercing. I'm like you, I wouldn't have went home, 'Cause, yeah, I wouldn't have had a nose left or something. It just wouldn't happen then. But you may not have liked it, but you let him make his choice at it, and that just shows how good of a person you are, dad, or not, just a person in general. So, yeah, I enjoyed your lead every time I've heard it. It's always good to see you at the meetings when I go to the meetings and stuff, but, thank you.
All right, if anybody wants to help close those windows. So we'll close the meeting with Our Father. Anybody wants a flyer for their home group?
Carl?
Who's father?
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Keep coming back. What's worse? You say kick it.
Yeah, I couldn't help it. I thought you started, but I was like, all right, let's do this.
On your way home,
I know, I'm sorry. I do the same thing. I want to, you just do it.
You know where the papers are?
Oh, yeah.
We're gonna get our.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine.
I appreciate it very much.
Next weekend, go to
This
Old
one's
Night.
mine.
Oh, yeah?
That's his brother.
Don't bring that up, that's a sore subject.
Good job tonight.
Good lead, man.
Thanks, Gary.
Thank you, Carl. Good message.
What's that?
Good message.
Oh,
Oh, yeah.
I always have water.
That's those new bells.
Is that what it is?
Yeah, they got a bang.
Yeah, they do.
That's what my dad used to say.
The fish
See you,
fry.
Russ.
Take care, have a
Have a
good one.
good day.
See you.
What's your YouTube channel where you got these leads? You got me on Facebook, right?
Right.
Why don't you send me a message with it, please?
Yeah, well, if you got my account?
Yeah.
You got the same number?
Yeah, get you the link?
Yeah, give me the link right
Okay,
there.
perfect.
The church is on your right, it's cut down.
Where is that? Wayne, we did.
I think so.
Never gave me $6 back.
He said she might go back and be a sub. I said a sub, you know.
Well, you're a sub.
How much is the car going?
Oh, it's just kidding.
I remember I was in high school, it was like.
You're gonna take everything everybody else wants, don't want.
Jump card over there.
I know for a while, I went down real low.
Give it to Brad.
He's not allowed to have it.
What's
going on with your thing, you gotta have something put in here?
And a lot of people are camping this weekend. A lot of people. Beautiful week. What are you doing tomorrow?
Oh, I gotta paint tomorrow.
Did you get all the Joey stuff out of
They got everything moved out, Salvation Army came down.
How much stuff do they haul out? A lot.
They hauled a lot of stuff out. They hauled a lot of it out, boys.
He comes back raising. He comes back raising 400 sand.
That's his fault.
Yep.
Gave him 5 months, and that wasn't long enough, hell of it.
that?
Well, the way I look at it is that you gave us the opportunity, you gave them get rid of it. Oh, I'm sure they'll find some good use for that.
Oh, yeah, it was all good stuff. Hi, Jeff.
No, like what you do with your. I hope you let you have your anniversary over here next September.
Graduation.
I said, I hope they let you have your anniversary over there next September.
Oh, yeah. Well, we got that scheduled. Hi, Jeff. How you doing? Where's your sidekick at? Where's your sidekick, Jerry? You ain't coming? No. Well, you probably knew somebody over there, though. I'm Gary, I'm an alcoholic. I'd like to welcome everyone here to the Coldwater Friday night group of Alcoholics Anonymous. We are a lead meeting. I am an alcoholic. Here at Coldwater, we encourage getting a home group and a sponsor, even if only a temporary sponsor. If you're interested to see the home group members after the meeting, can all home group members raise their hands? All right. I would all who take care to join us in a moment of silence for those who are still suffering, and followed by serenity prayer. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, courage to change the things I can, the wisdom to know the difference. Alcoholics Anonymous is a fellowship of men and women who share the experience, strength, and hope with each other, that they may solve their common problem and help others to recover from alcoholism. The only requirement for membership is a desire to stop drinking. There are no dues or fees for any membership. You are self-supporting your own contribution. It is not allowed with any sect, denomination, politics, organization, or institution. It does not engage in any controversy, neither endorses nor opposes any causes. Our primary purpose is to stay sober and help other alcoholics achieve sobriety. I've asked a friend, Tom, to read how it works.
Tom, alcoholic. This is how it works. Rarely we see a person fail who has thoroughly followed our path. Those who do not recover, people cannot or will not completely give themselves to this simple program. It's usually men and women who are constitutionally capable of being honest with themselves. They are such unfortunate and not a fault, they seem to be born that way. They're naturally incapable of grasping and developing a man believes the man who is honest. Their chances are less than average. There are those too who suffer from great emotional mental disorders, but many of them do recover and have the capacity to be honest. Our stories disclose in a general way what it used to be like, what happened, and what it's like now. I'm sorry. What it used to be like, what happened, and what we are like now. If you decide you want what we have and are willing to do anything to get it, then you're ready to take certain steps. And some of these we bought. We thought we could find an easier, softer way, but we cannot. With all the earnestness at our command, we beg you to be fearless and thorough from the very start. Some of us try to hold on to old ideas and resolve them until you let go absolutely. Remember that we deal with alcohol, cunning, baffling, and powerful. Without help it is too much for us, but there is one who has all power, that one is God. May you find him now. How familiar with the build is nothing. To stood the turning point, we ask his protection, care, and complete abandonment. Here are the steps we took, or suggested in the program of recovery. 1. We admitted we were powerless over alcohol, that lies had become unmanageable. 2. Came to believe that our power greater than ourselves could restore us to sanity. 3. Made a decision to turn our will and our lives into the care of God as we understood him. 4. Made searching and fearless more than to ourselves. 5. Admitted God to ourselves and to another human being the exact nature of our wrongs. 6. We're entirely ready to have God remove all these defects of character. 7. Humbly asked him to remove our shortcomings. 8. Made a list of all persons we had harmed and became willing to make amends to them all. 9. Made direct amends to such people wherever possible, except when to do so would injure them or others. 10. Continued to take personal inventory, and when we were wrong, promptly mended. 11. Sought through prayer and meditation to improve our conscious contact with God as we understood him, praying only for the knowledge of his will for us and the power to carry that out. Step 12. Having had a spiritual awakening as a result of these steps, we tried to carry this message to alcoholics and to practice these principles in all our affairs. Many of us exclaim, what an order, I can't go through with it. Do not be discouraged. No one among us has been to maintain anything like perfect adherence to these principles. You're not saints. Principles, the point, I'm sorry. The point is that we're going to grow along spiritual lines. Principles are set down guides to progress. We claim spiritual progress rather than spiritual perfection. Our description of alcoholic and captive agnostic and our personal adventures before and after make clear 3 pertinent ideas. A, that we were alcoholics and could not manage our lives. B, that probably no human power could relieve our alcoholism. And see that God couldn't move or even solve.
Hey, Tom, that's my friend Charlie. Read the traditions.
I'm Charlie, alcoholic.
Charlie.
12 traditions. 1. Our common welfare should come first. Personal recovery depends on AA unity. 2. For our group purpose, there is but one ultimate authority, a living God as he may express himself in our group conscience. Our leaders are but trusted servants, they do not govern. 3. The only requirement for AA membership is the desire to stop drinking. 4. Each group should be autonomous except in matters affecting other groups or AA as a whole. 5. Each group has but one primary purpose, to carry its message to the alcoholic who still suffers. 6. An AA group ought never endorse, finance, or lend the AA name to any related facility or outside enterprise. These problems of money, property, and prestige divert us from our primary purpose. 7. Every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting declining outside contributions. 8, Alcoholics Anonymous should remain forever non-professional, but our service centers may employ special workers. 9, AA as such ought never be organized, but we may create service boards or committees directly responsible to those they serve. 10, Alcoholics Anonymous has no opinion on outside issues, hence the AA name ought never be drawn into public controversy. 11, our public relations policy is based on attraction rather than promotion. We need always maintain personal anonymity at the level of press, radio, and film. 12, anonymity as the spiritual foundation of all our tradition, ever reminding us to place principle before personalities.
Hey, Charlie, I've asked Travis to read the promises.
Travis, I'm not.
Travis.
The promises. The spiritual life is not a theory. We have to live it. Unless one's family expresses a desire to live upon spiritual principles, we think we ought not to urge them. We should not talk incessantly to them about spiritual matters. They will change in time. Our behavior will convince them more than our words. We must remember that 10 or 20 years of drunkenness will make a skeptic out of anyone. There may be some wrongs that we can never fully right. We don't worry about them if we can honestly say to ourselves that we would right them if we could. Some people cannot be seen. We send them an honest letter. And there may be a valid reason for postponement in some cases, but we don't delay if it can be avoided. We should be sensible, tactful, considerate, and humble without being servile or scraping. As God's people, we stand on our feet. We don't crawl before anyone. If we are painstaking about this phase of our development, we will be amazed before we're halfway through. We are going to know a new freedom and a new happiness. We will not regret the past, nor wish to shut the door on it. We will comprehend the word serenity, and we will know peace. No matter how far down the scale we have gone, we will see how our experience can benefit others. That feeling of uselessness and self-pity will disappear. We will lose interest in selfish things and gain interest in our fellows. Self-seeking will slip away. Our whole attitude and outlook upon life will change. Fear of people and of economic insecurity will leave us. We will intuitively know how to handle situations which used to baffle us. We will suddenly realize that God is doing for us what we could not do for ourselves by these extravagant promises.
We think not.
They are being fulfilled among us, sometimes quickly, sometimes slowly. They will always materialize if we work for them.
Thanks, Travis.
I've asked my friend Steve to read the reflections.
Steve Alcoholic.
Hey, Steve.
Hey, Steve.
Daily reflections, May 24th. Happy, joyous, and free.
I think this is 9:25.
We are sure God wants us to be happy, joyous, and free. We cannot subscribe to the belief that this life is a veil of tears, though it once was just that for many of us. But it is clear that we hated our own misery. God didn't do it, avoid them. Avoid then the deliberate manufacture of misery. But if trouble comes, cheerfully capitalize it as an opportunity to demonstrate His omnipotence. For years I believed in a punishing God and blamed Him for my misery. I have learned that I must lay down the weapons of self in order to pick up the tools of the AA program. I do not struggle with the program because it is a gift, and I have never struggled when receiving a gift. If I sometimes keep on struggling, it is because I'm still hanging on to my old ideas, and the results are nil. Thanks.
Thank you, Steve. Asked my friend Kevin to read the 24-hour book.
And Kevin, I'm not talking.
Kevin.
May 24th, AA Thought for the Day. In 12-step work, the second thing is confession. By frankly sharing with prospects, we get them talking about their own experiences. They will open up and confess things to us that they haven't been able to tell other people. And they feel better when this confession has been made. It's a great load off their minds to get these things out into the open. It's the things that are kept hidden that weigh on the mind. They feed a sense of release and freedom when they have opened up their hearts to us? Do I care enough about other alcoholics to help them make a confession? Meditation for today. I should help others all I can. Every troubled soul that God puts in my path is the one for me to help. As I sincerely try to help, a supply of strength will flow into me from God. My circle of helpfulness will widen more and more. God's hands out the spiritual food to me, and I pass it on to others. I must never say that I have only enough strength for my own need. The more I give away, the more I will keep. That which I keep to myself I will lose in the end. Prayer for the day. I pray that I may have sincere willingness to give. I pray that I may not hold back the strength I have received for myself alone. Thank you.
Thanks, Kevin. Here in Coldwater, we have the token system. I've asked my friend Chris to give out tokens.
Thanks, Gary. My name's Chris and I'm out.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, it's customary to get a token if you have any length of sobriety, and this group will hand out a token for any length of sobriety, starting with 1 month, or 1 day, I should say. If you need a 1-day token, if this is your first meeting or your first meeting since your last drink, and you'd like a 24-hour token, we've got those. Anybody here want a 24-hour token? We all got 24 hours, right? Okay, yeah. How about 1 month? Maybe one for a week. How about 3 months? 2 months? Was there a 2-month in there? Yeah. 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, 6 months, 7 months? Anybody got 8 months, 9 months, 10 months, a year? How about any year thereafter? Come on, no tokens? We all have today.
All right. Next week, the picnic's going on, so we're going to be here. And we were supposed to move back here on the 14th, but I think since we're over here right now, I think we're just going to stay over here instead of moving that stuff back and forth. So starting right now, this meeting will be here at all times. And we'll kind of get a little more organized. I guess the Al-Anon meeting will be still over where they was meeting in the basement there, so. And then on June the 2nd is our district meeting. That's for all GSRs, alternate GSRs, anybody who's interested in service work. Our district shows how this program works, the business aspect of Alcoholics Anonymous for GSRs, alternate GSRs, anybody. I also think the district is planning another thing at the Gager Park in St. Mary's like we did last year. I don't have a definite date on that. I think it might be the 26th of August. And also New Bremen Monday, Wednesdays, and Friday, and their Monday night meeting will be celebrating their anniversary on August the 8th or August the 5th. All right. I also have a flyer up here. There's a spiritual retreat at the Maria Stein Retreat House. It's July 19th and through the 21st. The theme is Language of the Heart. It's presented by Scott F. The retreat is for men in recovery. Sign starts on Friday. The sign-in starts on Friday at 6 o'clock. First section is 8 o'clock. And there's a price on that, so you can come up here and check on it. If anybody needs a flyer to take back to the home group, you're welcome to take it back. We got a few up here. Anything else?
June 20th, Pine Lake.
Oh, Pine Lake, what day's that on, Kevin?
July 20th.
July 20th, Pine Lake starts at 12 o'clock in Pine Lake, right?
Yeah, we'll get you some flyers.
All right.
I'm Brad, I'm an alcoholic.
Hi, Brad.
Lima Noon 30 group annual fish fry is June 1st, 11 a.m. at 1440 West Spring at the LAC-NIP Community Center with the 12 and 12 study meeting at 12:30. Bring a newcomer and some friends and food to share. And also Lipsick's group 34th annual Old Timers meeting old-fashioned hot dog, decaf and regular coffee, lemonade and water, is June 26th. Doors open at 5:30, eat at 6:30, meeting at 7:30.
All right, thank you, Brad.
Thank you, Brad.
Thanks, Brad.
Any other announcements? All right, good enough.